It's been a little while since I had a comic review, and it's time for one. If you remember my Catwoman DC Inc. review, excuse me, it was a young reader book with Catwoman, and I thought it was the first in the series. Well, I lied. My pants are indeed on fire. Found out that Mera is the first in the series. They start with Mera. It goes Mera, Catwoman, Raven. I have read Raven. I'll be doing that review soon. Then is Harley Quinn. And unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate. But really, it doesn't matter. If it's getting more readers, that's what they should do. If it's getting a new audience, I love it. If it's just pandering to their regular buyers, I think it's a mistake. What they're doing. And what they're doing is after Harley Quinn, they had announced a whole bunch of titles coming, possible titles, and they're pretty obscure characters like Zatanna. That was one of my favorites. My cat was named after her. And the others that were more obscure. And Harley seems to be a new addition to the whole lineup. Next is Batman, Nightwing. And it looks like they're pushing away from the obscure, and the obscure ones were pushed into future dates and stuff like that. So the next one to come out, well, as of today, is the beginning of October when I'm recording this. I don't know when I'll put it up because October is slated for Halloween things. November is going to be kind of slated as a nerd month, so this may go up in November because I am trying to get into the Pop Culture Con and an anime convention. So we have two big comic book type conventions going that month that I'll be hopefully vending at. So that's kind of might make that a nerd month for me. Well, it does make it a nerd month for me. It might make it a nerd month for you too. But anyhow, what they're doing is they've pushed away the obscure characters and they're bringing in the Batmans and Nightwing, which might be bringing in new readers. Hopefully it's bringing in a new type of reader that doesn't read comics, but they like these books because they like the authors. Because these authors are all authors of young adult books. This is from the author of the Lunar Chronicles. I don't even know what that is. But it's a young adult series that is fairly popular. If you watch the movie Aquaman, you don't know the origin of Mera. You know the story they told, where she came up to help Aquaman. This tells the actual story of Mera. She comes from the ocean to kill Aquaman. He is the heir to the throne of Atlantis, even though he doesn't know it because he's living on land his whole life. I mean, that part, the Aquaman stuff is right. It was the Mera stuff that they changed. She comes up because he's the heir to the throne. She doesn't want him to get the throne because she wants the throne because there's battling kingdom. And it's a whole story like that, but she's not coming up to help, but they do eventually fall in love. Spoilers. But you know the story. They're married now, so. Usually that means you fall in love. In my case, it didn't. That's just a little gem. No, we did love each other at one point. Anyways, I like this. It's fun. I love what they do with the color and stuff inside. It's kind of muted sea blues to give an undersea feel, even when they're on land, like here. But her hair is always bright red. Just a neat touch. Just a neat touch. They do this color play in Catwoman with a lot of the purples popping, and they did it in Raven with certain colors popping here and there. And it looks like that's I've skimmed through the Harley Quinn, and the reds will pop for Harley. I like it. It's a neat choice. It gives they're all different artists. They're all different writers. But it gives the series a feel other than the shape and, they're a different size shape. They're a slightly smaller graphic novel. I highly recommend it. Again, I highly recommend this series. I've only read 3 books in it. But there are only 4, and the 3 of the 4 are all top-notch. So how could this thing be bad? Check it out. And especially if you have a young person in your family or in your life, around 13 or so, they call it a teen book. Someone, a, particularly a girl, although I don't think there are a difference between girl books and boy books, but there kind of are. I mean, I'd never pick up TTL and some of that other Daniel Steele stuff. That's a girl's book to me. Um, but anyone can read it. It doesn't mean it's exclusively for anyone. But there is a certain level of young reader. I mean, the Star Wars stuff is whatever. I think it's all ages. Both are gender neutral, but they're kind of feels to be an audience. So if you have someone in your family who leans towards those books, that you know what they are, they would have been Nancy Drew when you were. They were like the difference between Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys. Girls lean towards one or the other. So if you have a reader that leans towards what would have been Hardy Boy or Nancy Drew in the 50s, and she's leaning towards whatever it is. I don't even know those books. I haven't been to a bookstore in a while. Pick her up this. It's if they liked Aquaman the movie, this will teach them. They'll read. They'll find a character they enjoy, and it's good stuff. All right. Thanks, folks. I'll talk to you later, and go read a comic book.